I'm not defensive about it.
Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another day at the circus, and welcome back to day 2 of 2026. Big up to everybody that's locked in. Make sure you're smashing the like, subscribe if you're new around here. And here we are once again, looking for another manager. We've got a big show lined up as always, guys. Liam Rosenior leading the race to become the next Chelsea manager. And the reality is there is no one else in the race. We've seen all this nonsense. Oh, we know Fabregas, De Zerbi, Marco Silva, all these names that are getting touted about. Suddenly, they're not candidates anymore because it was all BS and there are no candidates other than Liam Rosenior. He is literally the only guy in the running for this job, and that is a sorry, sad state of affairs as to where we're at as a football club right now. But we're going to be diving into all the latest on Liam Rosenior, how the process is going for a new manager. The fallout from Enzo Maresca's departure continues. We finally got an explanation now as to what he meant in regards to his 48-hour comments, and it was in regard to the medical staff and a falling out over the management of Reece James, which is very interesting. We've had reports of interference from the hierarchy in terms of amount of minutes certain players should be playing, tactical decisions, hierarchy pushing for younger players to get more opportunities to boost their transfer value. It is an absolute disgrace. Disgrace what is happening at this football club. We are finished as a serious club. We are finished as a big team. And now we solely exist as a shadow of our former selves. We exist as a shadow of our former selves, chat. And it's upsetting. It's saddening to see what's happening to this once great club in front of our very eyes. These lot have made it very clear they're not changing. These lot have made it very clear the model is the model. They just want a head coach. They are in charge of things. And that's why they're happy to discard managers and coaches. That's why they're not fussed about a situation where managers come and go. Because ultimately, to them, as it was reported yesterday, the project is king. Nothing else matters other than the project to these lot. The head coach is a disposable piece that they don't really value, that they don't really give a shit about. It's all about them. Egomaniacs, clueless, incompetent people in charge of this football club, running it into the ground. Egbali, who has been successful in business, has got absolutely no idea how to run a sports club or a football team. Absolutely zero idea. He's got no idea about the sport whatsoever. You've then got two absolutely unqualified people for this kind of job in Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart. Insufferable. Nowhere near the standard required. And they are wasting hundreds of millions of pounds on footballers who most that come in are gone within 6 to 12 months. Most that come in are never going to kick a ball for this football club. Most that come in will be loaned out to Strasbourg and then sold for some profit. What is happening in front of our very eyes is embarrassing. I'm seeing things coming out that Chelsea aren't fussed about the Carabao Cup this season. That if they win it, they'll be happy, but it's not a priority. And they're not really bothered if they go out. How dare that mentality be at this football club? Mediocrity starts from the top and it seeps all the way down. And it's all because of this tin pot model that these guys are dying by, that these guys think is going to work. The arrogance to walk in to this football club and think that you're going to have success with something which no football club has ever had success doing, ever had serious success, ever won major titles operating like we do. We constantly get told we're signing the best players under the age of 25. No, we are not. No, we are not signing the best players under the age of 25. We have signed Alejandro Garnacho, nowhere near one of the best players under the age of 25. Jamie Gittins, nowhere near one of the best players under the age of 25. Dario Asugu, nowhere near one of the best players under the age of 25. Mamadou Sarr, Aaron Anselmino, nowhere near one of the best players under the age of 25. Liam Delap, nowhere near. Nowhere near, nowhere near, nowhere near. And we keep getting fed this BS that we are signing the best young talent from around the world under the age of 25. No, we're not. PSG sign the best young talent around the world under the age of 25. Where are our scouts? Lawrence Stewart, who knows France so well, but he went to France and he got us Benoit Badiashile and Axel Disasi. Instead, we could have gone to France. Where was Rayan Cherki? Where was Desiree Doué? Where was all these things? Where was Lucas Chevalier, the goalkeeper, who's now at PSG? Where are all these guys? We could have gone there and got these players. And this is what I'm talking about. You've got PSG, who are the perfect example of how we should be doing things. They've got William Pacho, top centre-half from Frankfurt. They've got Nuno Mendes, top baller. Vitinha, top baller. All these players under the age of 25 at the time they were signed, or still under 25. João Neves, Desiree Doué, Kavica Kvaratskhelia. And then they've surrounded it, chat. They've surrounded it with Ashraf Hakimi's, with Marquinhos's, with Ousmane Dembele's, with Fabian Ruiz's. That's how you do it. And they do it with a best-in-class leading the project. This project, in theory, is not a bad idea. The execution is criminal, and the doubling down on the criminal execution is even more criminal than accepting you're wrong or admitting you are wrong. Leading this project should have been a top-class director of football. Not only have we got a shocking director of football, we've got two of them. We've got two absolutely dreadful directors of football. As if one wasn't enough, we have got two shocking directors of football. And as soon as a manager shows an inch of ambition, as soon as a manager shows a desire to want more, a desire to be better, a desire to move this football club forward, they're discarded. And that is the reason why we are finished as a serious institution. We are no longer a big football club. We no longer sit at the table with the big teams. We sit at a table with average teams now. Average teams. Big up to you, brother. Blueco Media spinning full swing. Fake news everywhere. SDs only get players they know, not data-driven. The only person who can save us is Todd Bowley. Facts, brother. I agree. In the short term, I don't know if it's a long-term solution, but in the short term, Bowley needs to come to the rescue. He needs to somehow get some people together, find some money, and buy these guys out, because we cannot continue with these guys at the wheel. We cannot continue because we are being run further and further into the ground. Chat, before I get onto the Rosenior thing, before I say hello to some of you people, I want to play something. And it's very, very interesting because before Liam Rosenior got into management, he was a pundit on Sky. And here he is talking about Liam Rosenior back in 2018. Let's listen to this. I don't think I'm going to get done for copyright. And if I do, then we're fucked. But I don't think I will. So this is Liam Rosenior here, chat, talking about Fulham when Slavica Jokanovic was in charge back in 2018. Did Slavica Jokanovic pick his Fulham signings this summer? So this is Rosenior critiquing a model almost identical to the one he's about to walk into at Chelsea, with a fan base who feel he's not ready. Not ready. Now listen to this. This is Rosenior back in 2018 talking about the very model that he's about to walk into at Chelsea.
Visa choose those players?
I don't think so. I don't think so in the way that the recruitment works at Fulham, and that's. I think there needs to be more of a synergy at every football club in terms of your recruitment. I think that's another problem. You know, they signed 2 goalkeepers on deadline day. Now, for me, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense when you've got a goalkeeper in Bettinelli who's done very well and getting promoted to the Premier League. To me, it smells of a scattergun approach. Let's get as many players in as possible. Let's spend money. Let's look great in the transfer window. We saw with Swansea last year. Everyone said what a great transfer window they had. They end up getting relegated. And football is about having quality players. It's about having a chemistry and a team spirit. When you go away to the likes of Huddersfield, we need to really dig in and fight for 3 points, and they didn't seem to have that.
Lisa, choose those.
There we go. Absolutely spot on with what he's saying there. Scattergun approach needs to be more of a synergy. Literally what Chelsea are. More focused about winning the transfer window than actually creating chemistry, creating team synergy, creating all these things. We're finished, chat. We're finished. By the way, nobody's crying over Maresca. They're complaining about this terrible model, which is not working. Facts. I'm disappointed he's gone, but football moves on fast. He's gone now. But the next manager, and do you know what? I feel he's not even in yet, Rosenior, and I feel so sorry for him already because he's walking into a mess. He probably knows that he shouldn't take this job because he should stay at Strasbourg and develop further as a manager. But he knows that you can't say no to Chelsea for a manager at this stage of his career, for a manager of his caliber. You don't say no when a big club come knocking. Not to mention, if he did say no, he'd be saying no to his current employers. So he's in a very, very difficult position, and he's on a hiding to nothing. I feel really sorry for him because he's gonna come in. He's gonna have the same problems that Enzo Maresca had. There might be a minimal new manager bounce, but then you know, ugly things will rear their heads again, and we'll be having the same conversations. But it's very, very telling here that Rosenior, having criticised that Fulham model back in 2018, is about to walk into the very same model at Chelsea. Very same model at Chelsea. But let's get into the Rosenior stuff then, chat, and let's bring you the latest on Liam Rosenior. Big up to everyone that's tuned in. Continue to smash the like button, chat. It's free. It takes seconds to do. Make sure that you run it up, guys. Make sure you run it up. Keep subscribing if you're new around here as well. We're almost 200 in the building already. Let's get up to 100 likes minimum. Needs to be 200 likes. So keep smashing the like button. No one would care if we get a top manager lined up, but we don't. Yeah, but bro, this is exactly my point. And this is why I was so critical of people that are, you know, happy Maresca's gone. Because what they don't realise is we're not going to get anyone better than him in, and we're not going to appoint a top-class manager. Why? I don't understand it. Why people thought, oh, this was a good idea. You know, let's get rid of him. Great, he's gone now. And then people are acting surprised when it's going to be Liam Rosenior coming in and no top-level manager whatsoever. I mean, I don't understand it at all. But let's get onto it then. Let's get onto it. We're a little over 24 hours on from Enzo Maresca's departure, and Fabrizio Romano has provided the latest update, and then we'll get into more of it. So this is it here, and then we'll get into more of detail from Carve Solocol over at Sky. So Liam Rosenior remains the leading candidate in the shortlist to become new Chelsea head coach. As I said before, I don't believe for a second there's a shortlist. They just make it out like there is. He is the only candidate. Highly rated by Chelsea hierarchy, as revealed weeks ago, main candidate. Strasbourg assessing replacements if Chelsea proceed. Well, Strasbourg aren't assessing replacements because they're both owned by the same people. Do you know what a damning indictment it is in 2026 that Chelsea Football Club, the next manager, we are waiting for Strasbourg to get a new manager so that we can get our next manager? What a sharp decline. What a steep decline from this once great footballing institution. He's not highly rated by Chelsea whatsoever. People are saying he's doing a brilliant job at Strasbourg, right? He's doing an all right job at Strasbourg. Let's be real, they bottled Champions League over the last few weeks of the season, last season in France. And they got Conference League football because PSG won the French Cup, not for any other reason. This season, they're doing well in the Conference League, fair play to them. But in the league, I think he's taken 4 points from the last 5 or 6 games. This idea that he's doing an excellent job at Strasbourg is kind of baffling. I mean, if they think that he's doing an excellent job there, we're more fucks than I thought we were. He's not doing a bad job, but he's not doing like an outstanding job. He's not doing an outstanding job. I think we've got to be really clear on this, chat. He's doing a good job, but not an outstanding job by any any means whatsoever. What I would say is that in maybe a positive to Rosenior, what I would say about Rosenior is that like every manager, it's not his fault. He deserves an opportunity. He deserves to be backed, and he deserves to be backed, and he deserves to be supported by the fan base. That's the bare minimum he deserves. None of this is his fault, and that's what we've got to realize, chat. That we have to be directing the noise at the right people. I'm not going to get on Liam Rosenior's back when we're crap. I'm not going to get on his back when we lose games, because none of this is his fault. None of this is his fault. He is just going to become the next fool guy for this ownership, the next shield for them to hide behind, the next manager to be discarded by the wayside when it all goes wrong. This is not Liam Rosenior's fault. None of this is his fault. I will support him like I support every single Chelsea manager that steps on the touchline, because that is the bare minimum they deserve as fans. That's the bare minimum we should be giving as fans. Now, let's get away from that. Let's get to this Chelsea Dodgers update, because as expected, the Strasbourg Ultras, by the way, are going to lose their shit. They're going to go mad. It's going to go mental there. So Cyril Olive or Olives, by the way, it's definitely not Cyril Olives. That my French is not very good. Cyril Olives? Maybe it's Cyril Olives. It's definitely not Cyril Olives. There's no way is that a French name, Cyril Olives. Anyway, the Liam Rosenior to Chelsea scenario is causing considerable unrest with Strasbourg and behind the scenes. Of course it is. Before knowing whether the Nice match will be Rosenior's last, the club is trying to maintain a semblance of normalcy. Is normalcy a word? Maybe it is. According to internal sources, no concrete preparations have yet begun. However, Liam Rosenior reportedly met with Chairman Mark Keller and Sporting Director David Weir this Friday. Do you know what the funny thing is, by the way, chat? Is that Liam Rosenior is due to face the media at 1 p.m. UK time. He's due to face the media in 40 minutes. He's due to face the media in 40 minutes. Talking about ahead of the Strasbourg match, ahead of the Strasbourg game with Nice. He's due to face the media in 40 minutes' time. What on earth is he supposed to say? What on earth is he supposed to say? It's mad. It's mad. It really is. What is this guy meant to say in this presser? And do you know what else, chat, by the way? Do you know what else? We've got a Chelsea situation, right, where today, under 21's boss, Callum McFarlane, has got to face the media. And he's going to have to answer questions that he doesn't know the answer to. He's put in the firing line in a situation that he doesn't really know anything about. He's got to field questions about a subject that he probably won't know about, a subject that he can't say much about. He's got to field really difficult questions and face up to the media at 1 p.m. Liam Rosenior and Callum McFarlane will both be speaking 1 p.m. UK time to the media ahead of the respective games this weekend. How dare Chelsea throw Callum McFarlane to the Lambs, into the Lions' den, to face the media? It is so cowardly. It is so cowardly from Eghbali and the sporting directors. Eghbali or the sporting directors should be facing up to the media today and answering questions. They should be answering questions. They should be answering questions. How dare they throw this guy to the wolves? Instead of throwing the under-21s coach in front of the media, they should be fronting up, chat, answering questions on why Chelsea are an absolute mess. Instead, they will say absolutely nothing. They will brief against Maresca in the press. They will make it out like it was all his fault. And they will say absolutely nothing because the lot of them are spineless cowards. Spineless cowards. And this is the problem, bro. They can't say no. They can't say no. They have to. And I didn't even realise, because I never really looked into the under-21 boss. Callum McFarland, guess what? Guess where he came through at? He came through at Manchester City, worked with the likes of Rico Lewis and whatnot. Oh, what a surprise. Another one from Manchester City. Literally, you talk about best in class. All we do is get someone from Man City, get someone from Brighton. That's literally it. If you've played for Man City or worked at Man City, you've got a job at Chelsea. If you've played for Brighton or worked at Brighton, you've got a job at Chelsea. Rosenior used to play for Brighton. I'm not surprised this has caused issues behind the scenes at Brighton, because at Strasbourg, sorry. Because not only is Chelsea's season finished, Bluecoat and Egbali are about to ruin a Strasbourg season. They're about to interrupt a Strasbourg season. They're about to derail it. These guys do not care. These guys could not care less about what is happening right now. They don't care. That's the most damning indictment of this, is they couldn't give a shit right now. And that's it right now. Winning. Look at this. Listen to this chat. Listen to this from ESPN. Listen to this here. Winning is no longer the primary consideration at Chelsea. It is also about fitting in with the ownership's blueprint, and that involves young coaches with potential just as much as it revolves around recruiting the best emerging playing talent from all over the world. Seeing a photo of those three makes me feel ill. It makes me feel sick. Looking at them disgusts me. It disgusts me, chat. But the thing is here, right, there's no sort of devious plan here. They're not looking to tank Chelsea. They genuinely believe, right, that this is how you win. That this is how you have success over a long period of time, over the long term. They're not trying to ruin Chelsea. They genuinely believe this is how you do it. They genuinely believe this is how you're successful. Even though no side ever in the history of football has had any major success operating like this. I almost admire being that deluded, chat. I almost admire the levels of delusion right now. That level of delusion from these guys, I actually respect it. I actually respect being that deluded. I would love to be that deluded about something. I would absolutely love to have that level of delusion. It would honestly, chat, it would be incredible. It would be absolutely incredible to have that level of delusion. But I could never allow that. I could never do that to myself. I could never do that to myself, to be that deluded. But this is how they think you win. This is how they think you win. And that in itself, for me, is the biggest worry, chat. The biggest worry is that they're just genuinely incompetent and just genuinely shocking at what they do. This is not about, we've come in and this is our plan to ruin the football club. They've come in and they genuinely think this is how you become successful. Even though no football club has ever been successful doing this, that's what they think. I'm just at a complete loss here. I'm at a complete loss as to how this continual nonsense is allowed to happen, kept being allowed to happen. This position is untenable. The positions of those above are untenable, yet they're as safe as they've ever been. I don't understand it. I do not understand it. I'm just speechless. Hi. Yeah, hi, bro. I don't know. I don't know why anyone would get a photo of fucking Win Stanley. Bro, I got a photo with Egg Barley back in 2023. I need to remove that. I need to remove my digital footprint. I need to track down that photo, and I need to remove all traces from the digital Ethernet because I feel ashamed that I've done that now. Ashamed. Bro, I was on Sky this morning, and I made it very clear about what's going on at the football club. Made it very, very clear. I'll try and get hold of the footage and upload it. I don't know if they've clipped any up or not, but I was on there. I was on there this morning and discussing basically what we're discussing right now. So yeah, I don't know if they'll clip anything up or not, but I'll try my best to get hold of the footage and I'll upload it on YouTube. We spent around $1 billion on the first team alone, 500 on the squad. We could have bought 100. Yeah, no, I know, bro. We could have done. Yeah, we wasted so much money. Bro, success is winning the major trophies. Winning the major trophies is success. Bro, there are no other candidates. There are 0 other candidates. 0 other candidates. And that's what we have to realize here, is that it's all just PR to make it look like there's more candidates. There's not. Guys, there's nearly 300 of you in the building. Big up to every single one of you. Keep smashing the likes. Let's get this to 200 likes as quickly as possible. We're on 106. Run it up, run it up. Chelsea Football Club is dead. Yep. Bro, I've used my voice. I'm using my voice. Yep, the target this season remains exactly the same as it was at the start of the season. And this is what I said on Sky this morning, and this is what I'll say again today, right now. When Liam Rosenior comes in, it should be a 6-month contract. And if he doesn't get Champions League football, he's gone. Because we should not be altering the objectives and the aims for this season because someone new is coming in. So if Rosenior doesn't get Champions League football, he has to leave. And we bring someone else in. Because the season has been tanked by this ownership. Rosenior is not walking into a catching up job. He's walking into a cup semi-final. He's walking into a team that is in 5th place and in contention for the Champions League. He's walking into a team that is going to qualify for the knockout stage of the Champions League. There's no catch-up job here. There's no rescue mission here. He's coming into a team in a good position in multiple fronts. So if he doesn't make the Champions League football, he has to go. He has to go. Train on the job FC. That's what we are, bro. Big up again, brother, for the super chat. What do you think the players are thinking? I've got absolutely no idea. Some of them might be quite pleased. Probably the ones that weren't playing very much, but that's normal. I think a lot of the senior players and regular starters will be very, very disappointed. Probably a sense of, oh God, not this again. But yeah, I don't really know. But one thing I can tell you is there's going to be a lot of players now who are going to start thinking, I need to get out of here. I need to get out of this football club. Bro, there was no shortlist. There was no shortlist. Well, not specifically that, but let's get into that. Let's get into that actually. Not specifically that, but you're not far off. And let's actually, before we get, I know we're sort of going between things here, but we're going between topics and there's not really much of a structure right now. But let me get into some of this Egg Barley and the team news stuff. So let's first of all let's go to those 48-hour comments, guys, because the 48-hour comments, we finally got a reason for them. We got what they were referring to. Carve Solikar, again, who's been across this, quite a detailed thread here. We're just going to go through the main situation here. So, Enzo Maresca decided to step down as Chelsea head coach because he felt his position was untenable. Fair play. Chelsea were considering making a change because of a poor recent results. This is the thing, though, right? When they briefed this, it was nothing to do with the results. It was nothing to do with the results. They've made it out like it was to do with results. It's not. It's all to do with the fact that Maresca has fallen out and he's challenged them. Comments made by Maresca in the media, disagreements with the club's medical department, and reports linking their head coach with other clubs. Maresca had several disagreements with the medical department about the fitness and availability of players during his time at the club. From Chelsea perspective, these were only disagreements about detailed recommendations from the medical and performance departments about player workload, and they were not about interfering in the head coach making football decisions. Well, unfortunately, that's exactly what they were doing. Is the medical department were essentially managing the minutes of players and making it clear to Maresca that you can only play certain players for X amount of time. And that's where I think the Cole Palmer situation, where it was wrong for fans to boo, is that Maresca said in the press conference that Cole Palmer was ready to play 90 minutes, where actually the medical department is saying, no, he's not. He can only play this many minutes, and you need to take him off. That's where this is all stemming from. So meanwhile, the mystery of what Maresca was talking about with his worst 48 hours comments can be solved once and for all. Maresca was talking about disagreements with the medical staff about managing the minutes played by Reece James. Yeah, bro, exactly. Medical team telling Maresca who to play. That comes from the top. So, like, when we're talking about, and this is why it's always difficult to criticize fully on and put this sort of thing on the manager, because at the end of the day, the medical staff are basically telling him who to play. The medical staff are saying who can play certain minutes. There's pressure from the ownership to play certain players to raise their transfer value. And then Maresca is the fool guy and gets criticised for making the changes, for doing certain things, for taking players off when it's being enforced on him. And that's why he's walked away. Because you've got medical staff interfering. You've got ownership interfering. You've got sporting directors interfering. Imagine, right? Let me bring this up. So that's what it was. That's exactly what it is, bro. That's exactly what it is. And this is what I mean, right? Why there's a massive difference between a head coach and a manager. Any top level manager is not accepting a role as a head coach. Any top level manager is not accepting a head coach role, because what a head coach is basically you just coach the team and that's it. It's not a unilateral process. It's not a collaborative process. You're not involved in everything. You literally coach the team with whatever players you're given, and that's it. Do you really think Pep Guardiola is accepting a head coach role? Sir Alex Ferguson, Mourinho, Ancelotti, all these guys. These guys are not accepting a head coach role. Why do you think Luis Enrique didn't want to come to Chelsea? Because he's not accepting a head coach role. Nagelsmann is not accepting a head coach role. None of these top managers are being yes men or accepting a head coach role where they do not matter. The manager of the football club is the most important person. The most important person at a football club should be the manager. He should be involved in everything. But at Chelsea, right now, under this ownership, I have to be honest, chat, the manager's the least important. The manager is the least important person. They don't really care about the manager. They're not fussed about the manager. The manager to them doesn't mean much. Is a disposable piece, can be changed. They don't care. They do not care. They aren't asked, chat. They are not asked. Exactly. This is the point, right? Whenever we get rejected, right? It's not like, oh, it's like we always say, oh, we turned them down. No, we didn't. We didn't turn anyone down. We get rejected left, right, and center. Left, right, and center. We get rejected because that's who we are. That's who we are, chat. We get rejected left, right, and center. People, we're 137 likes. Get this up to 200 likes. We're nearly 300 in the building. Big up to everyone who's locked in. Smash the like, subscribe, all of that good stuff, people. Run it up, run it up. We're racing towards 20K. Let's really make a big push here. Nagelsmann rejected us as well. I hear it. He did. He absolutely rejected us. Exactly. And this is what you notice, chat, right? Is that the people that the managers we go for are people that will be grateful to come to Chelsea, are people who are young and up and coming, who are at far smaller clubs. And they'll be grateful to come to Chelsea. That's who we go for. And do you know why, chat? We go for that kind of manager, that kind of manager. Because that's the only kind of manager that we can attract now. That's the only kind of manager that will get to this football club in these circumstances, because they've never managed a top team before. They've never managed at the highest level. Those are the only kind of people we can get, because it's a huge opportunity for them. Anyone who can genuinely make a difference, anyone who is the top level manager, has got a big CV, has won stuff, then they're not being seen dead here. They're not being seen dead at this football club. And that is why now there is no shortlist. There are no candidates. That's why halfway through a season, we're going to our sister club to get our new manager. That means the projects you're doing is damn right failing. If you're having to go to your sister club to get their manager to come to you halfway through a season, whatever project BS this is not working, is failing. Is failing so hard. And yet everybody can see it other than the people in charge. Other than the people in charge, everybody can see it. I don't think people understand how cooked we are. We are so cooked, chat. So cooked. Big up to you, brother, for the super chat. Why are the SDs yes man and accepting all of this? I'll tell you why, bro. Because they, with the greatest of respects, were at Monaco. We're at Brighton. Good clubs, not top clubs, not best in class. So of course they're going to toe that, because they know that they would never, ever get a job at a big football club like Chelsea. And so they know that they don't deserve to be in this position. So when Egbali says jump, they say how high, because they know they're very fortunate to be in this position where they shouldn't be in this position, where they're grossly underqualified to be in this position. So they toe that company line. They do the yes man thing, because they know that if they don't, they're not only are they gone, but they will never get a job as good as this again at a football club of this caliber. And that's why we're finished, chat. That's why we're finished. That's why we're finished. Everybody is complicit in what's going on. Everybody is complicit. Bro, Chelsea's run like a stock market. Buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell. I'm fed up of it. Absolutely fed up of it. But let's get into a bit more of this, because there was so much that came out on look at this at the time. Look at this at the time, chat. The writing's been on the wall for so long. This is back in 2024. in May, before Pochettino was appointed. Before Maresca was appointed. Pochettino's successor will have to accept the authority of the board and sporting directors, with a control that could even stretch into elements of on-pitch coaching. Do you know how mental that is? Do you know how mental that is? Could you imagine, right? You've got Egg Barley, Stewart, Winstanley, all of them together, or one of those three, coming up to you as a manager or coach and telling you what to do, telling you how to manage, telling you what players to play, telling you how to coach things. Don't make me sick. Do not make me sick. Do you know how disgraceful that is? Imagine if the manager went up to the office of the sporting directors and told them how to scout players, told them who to sign, told them how to do their job, go to the ownership, tell them how to run a football club, do an XYZ. That's not running. So why is this running? Why are these guys such egomaniacs, so egotistical that they think they should be involved in absolutely everything? An owner shouldn't be seen. An owner shouldn't be seen. An owner shouldn't be in the headlines. An owner should be quietly getting on with things behind the scenes. Your ownership shouldn't be in headlines. But yet they are. So there was that. On-pitch coaching. Are you joking? Right, we've got to scroll down here to find it. Because this is about on-pitch coaching. Hold on. Here we go. This one here. Maresca had several confrontations with the club due to disagreements over which players should start and which substitutions should be made during games, with Maresca not the type of coach to accept on-pitch decisions that are out of his control. Chelsea's position is their model won't change. And this chat is why we're done. This is why we're cooked, and this is why we are finished. Finito. Finito, finito, finito. This is why we're done, chat. This is why we are cooked. We're so cooked. Chelsea's position is their model won't change, and that an input over selection was exclusively related to player workload and welfare and came from the medical department, not the board. This is just them saving face with PR. We know full well where it's come from. It wasn't related to player workload and welfare. Bollocks, was it? However, Maresca felt issues at the club ran far deeper and extended to other departments. He also felt pressure from above to rotate and ultimately raise the value for several young players. And that sums it up, chat. That sums it up. Rotation to raise the value of young players. And I respect him for walking away. Stayed true to his principles. Didn't accept any of this BS. Didn't accept being told what to do. You hired me to be a manager or head coach or whatever. Let me do it. Let me get on with it. You don't see me going to question you in your office about stuff, or after every player signed, go and question it. And once again, the manager is made out to be the bad guy. The manager takes the heat and becomes the fool guy for these clowns, for these cowards. Whilst they don't have to answer for anything and get away with things scot-free and are allowed to employ another manager and are allowed to waste hundreds of millions of more pounds. But now some of the stuff is starting to make sense, chat. Now some of the stuff is starting to make sense in terms of decisions that we were seeing, in terms of substitutions that we were seeing, in terms of team selections, in terms of rotation. Now it's all starting to make sense. Yes, he did. And at the time, when you're coming from Leicester after one season in football, you accept the Chelsea job and you accept the conditions. Of course you do. But the moment that he won something and had some success, he had a right to demand more, to push forward more, to want more, to take the club to the next level and challenge for Premier League titles and challenge for the major trophies. He earned that right to do that. And this is why we are finished as a big football club. This is why we are no longer a big club. Because as soon as a manager demands more, shows an ounce of ambition, tries to push this football club forward, they fall by the wayside and the next yes man comes in, the next puppet comes in. And the same thing will happen over and over again. These lot are never changing their model. And so we've got a problem. And so we've got a massive, massive problem. A massive problem. When you win, your expectations go up. You're successful, therefore, the expectations should change. Why would anybody who's ambitious, who has won, who wants to have a very successful career, who wants to be one of the best coaches, why would they not push for more, drive for more, demand more after being successful to go to the next level? And what this tells me is that Chelsea don't give a shit about going to the next level. They're not in this to win major trophies. They're not in this to build a title-winning squad. They are in this to come forth, win the odd cup here and there, and just buy and sell players and flip players. That's all they're here for. That's all they're here for. And so when you achieve something and you ask for more and you demand more, that should be given to you because you've backed it up with what you've achieved. But instead, at Chelsea, you're just met with, nah, that's not what we do round here. That's not what we do round here. It's a disgrace. And people will talk about, oh, yeah, but he spoke with Man City and Juventus. Okay, fine. Not ideal. But what I would say to that is three things. He informed the club every time it happened. His contract allowed it to happen. And the third thing I would say is, why did he feel the need to do that? Why did he feel the need to why did he feel the need to look elsewhere? The fact that managers are now using Chelsea as a stepping stone club is another damning indictment on the farce that we are under this ownership. Absolute farce. But why do we think that he wanted to? Why do we think he wanted to look elsewhere? And this, by the way, bro, Di Matteo was basically given the job because he won 2 trophies and we had to give it to him. When, actually he had to do some proper managing and proper coaching, he was pretty shit, if we're being real. But he had a top-class team. Anyway, I'm going to move away from that because this is the most damning one. We've got 5 minutes until McFarlane speaks, until Rosenior speaks, so we will also cover that as well. But this was the most damning, chap. This was the most damning of the lot for me. Let me find it now. About the Carabao Cup. Bear with me a sec, chap. Oh yeah, this is it here. In regards to the Carabao Cup. Carabao Cup success is not a priority for Chelsea. If they win it, great. If they get knocked out by Arsenal, it's not the end of the world. Do you know how embarrassing it is to brief that? How disgraceful it is to brief that? The embarrassing mentality coming from the top. Do you know what? We don't care if we lose a cup semi-final to our big rivals Arsenal. We're not fussed. We're not fussed if we do that. If we get through, great. If we don't get through, no problem. What a disgraceful mentality for a top club. It's bad enough that you think that, but to actually brief that is a disgrace. That they're not asked about the Carabao Cup if we get knocked out. As I said here, clear the schedule then. Forfeit it. Just wave Arsenal into the final because we don't care anymore. Because we don't care anymore. That's what we're saying. They're not. It's not the end of the world if we get knocked out. It's not a priority for Chelsea. But they're happy to charge 55 quid for the first leg at Stamford Bridge. They're happy to do that, aren't they? £55 for the first leg of the Carabao Cup. But we're not fussed if we win. We're not fussed if we go out. No, I'm fuming. Absolutely fuming. What is the point of wasting your time going to support the team in this big semi-final when the ownership don't even give a shit if we get knocked out to one of our biggest rivals? Well, what is the point? Genuinely, what is the point? What is the point? Genuinely, no point. Genuinely, no point. Why should we go? And the fact that the fact that trophies aren't taken seriously at Chelsea is another nail in the coffin of us once being a great club. Yeah, he wasn't good in the Cups last season. I agree. He wasn't good in the Cups last season. The domestic Cups was a problem. But he got us to a semi-final here. He won 2 trophies. We're in a semi-final in the second season. And yeah, we're now cooked. We're now absolutely cooked. Yeah, of course Iriola rejected us. Of course he did. Of course he rejected us. Bro, no respectable manager is coming to Chelsea. It's obvious why he took the job in the first place, because he's at Leicester. He had 1 year as a manager, and Chelsea are a massive football club. You don't say no to that when you're a manager of his caliber at the time. You don't say no to that. A chance to work with top players, great facilities. You don't say no to it. But you notice how, as I said, the type of managers we're targeting now are ones that want to come, are ones that are young, up and coming, don't have the experience, and would be so grateful to be in this position. Anyone that could actually do a decent job, anyone that could actually take this club to the next level, won't be seen dead here. He was probably made to play weaker sides in the Cups. Yeah, maybe he was. Maybe he was. And now it's all starting to come together. It's all starting to make a little bit of sense. Guys, still nearly 300 in the building. Only 176 likes. Get this up to 200 likes, people. Smash that like button. We're 24 away now. Keep going, chat. Would really appreciate it. And yeah, run it up. Run it up. Run it up, run it up, run it up. Let's get this to 200 likes minimum. Come on, people. Nah, bro, it is. It's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. So am I. So am I. I'm absolutely delighted that he exposed those frauds. I'm delighted he exposed those frauds. Because people need to know what's going on at Chelsea Football Club. They need to know what is happening. Right, what we're going to do, chat, is we're going to tune in to the presser. I should be able to show this. Do we have a live stream of the presser? No, we don't. Chat, does anyone know where the press conference is being shown, by the way? Is it being shown on the club website? I don't want that. Ah, it is. Oh, let me just mute that chat. Sorry. So it's starting soon. Starting soon, the presser. But yeah, yeah, bro. Maybe it's on Comedy Central. Maybe it's on Comedy Central. Right. Let's get this on screen. Wow. Welcome to the new era. There it is. Callum McFarlane. Press conference starting soon. Is it delayed by 15 minutes? You're joking. Is it actually? Oh, it's delayed by 10 to 15 minutes. Oh, for fuck's sake. Right, well, we'll get that off then and we'll bring it back on later. No, not even the press is done properly. I tell you what, guys, maybe he's ill. Maybe he's ill, like Maresca was ill, quote unquote. Maybe he was ill. Yeah, good. Fantastic. Absolutely wonderful. Chat, we still haven't hit 200 likes. What are you playing at here? What are we playing at here, people? Come on, run up these 200 likes, people. Egbardigan in the last minute pep talk to blame Maresca. Yep. Yeah, very true. Yeah, very true. I wouldn't be surprised if he's got an earpiece in and he's like, right, Callum, I want you to say this. Like that Anton Deck shit. Yeah, Callum's still learning the script. Callum's still learning the script. Yeah, he just needs to go over his lines, a couple of last minute rehearsals, and then he's good to go. Just needs 10, 15 more minutes to learn his lines, and then he's good to go. I feel so sorry for him. Like, he's been hung out to dry here. But once again, McFarlane doing this press conference is another complete lack of accountability from those above. A complete lack of accountability. A complete lack of accountability. Chat, what we could do, chat, let's bring this up. Because Sky have posted the video. So whilst we'll wait, someone in the chat can let me know when this McFarlane thing's starting. Let me just bring this through.
It's very important, as I say, for Callum McFarlane. He's got to do the press in a couple of hours' time, and we don't know yet. He may well be taking the game against Manchester City and Pep Guardiola on Sunday. So it's never done, is it, when it comes to Chelsea?
It is certainly not. Gail, thank you. Right, Sky Sports have partnered with Finalysis to discover true fan opinion. To have your say on your club, download the Finalysis app. Scan the QR code here for more details. Let's speak to Chelsea fan Charlie Patrick. Charlie, good to see you again. Now, remember, on New Year's Eve, you were on and you predicted that in 2026, Maresca would go. So in that sense, no surprise. But were you surprised that it was one day into it?
Yeah, I think I was surprised it was one day into it, but I think the writing had been on the wall for a little while. I think as soon as those comments after the Everton game came out, that was the real telling point. You could tell a slight change in his demeanour. I haven't won a game since that Everton won in the Premier League anyway. And you could tell all was not well. He clearly wasn't happy with things that were going on, and now obviously he's moved on. I actually respect the fact that he's walked away from this, because I think, look, obviously the manager is grateful for the opportunity. Chelsea are giving you a brilliant platform to come to a big football club, right? But then I think the issue is, and the head coach thing's really telling, because Chelsea, with the way that they operate, they just want someone that coaches their team, and that's it. It's not involved in anything else. The directors pick the players. You're given these players, and you make it work. If you don't like that, you're gone. And essentially, Maresca has kind of fallen out with them over that, and he's decided, you know what? I can't work in these conditions. I'm done with this. And I respect him for that. I think Chelsea have made a massive mistake in terms of not taking responsibility, not taking accountability for the way that they operate. We've gone through so many managers now. This ownership from day one preached about having long-term head coaches. This is their, sixth manager they're looking for now in less than 4 years. They're constantly changing managers. Every manager that's been here has fallen out with them, has found the conditions unworkable. You had Maurizio Pochettino, who's worked on the Daniel Levy, no signings for 2 consecutive summers, no problems. He was fed up with it. Maresca's fed up with it. And Chelsea fans are kind of fed up with it now as well, in terms of, I actually really not bothered who the next manager is, because in the grand scheme of things, the managers are relevant.
Charlie, just want to ask you, you respect him obviously for, you're saying leaving and whatever, but I'd respect him more if he left with no pay. Walked off into the sunset and said, I can't work under these circumstances.
He has waived, just on that, he has waived some of his compensation package, which, okay, fine, great. That's not a terrible thing. I understand it, We've had managers in the past, Conte, Mourinho, they've totally waived all the money away or whatever. I get that. Look, you could argue the other way as well, that he's kind of self-engineered this exit with the way that he's conducted himself. I completely understand that, and I hear that point of view. And then my counterpoint to that would be, why has he felt the need to act like that?
Because he's won a couple of trophies. A lot of managers do this. They come into a club, they do an interview. We tell you exactly what the job is, tell you the process, tell you the philosophy of the club. You come in and go, great, love that, want the job, desperate for the job. You get your feet under the table, you win a couple of things, and then all of a sudden the confidence levels rise, where you can start challenging the system of, I agreed to it all, and now I want to rip it all down and change it. So my question to him would be, as a manager, what's changed since the day you walked through the door to today? Because I don't think anything's changed. As much as you don't like it, that's the way it is.
No, I agree. I don't think anything's changed, but I think what has changed is the fact that he's, in my opinion, when you come in, you win the 2 trophies, you get us back in the Champions League, I think you've then earned a right to demand more from the football club to push on to the next level. And he simply was not given that to take Chelsea to the next level. And we missed a golden opportunity in the summer after the success to really push on, sign some top players and make sure we're competing. And the reality is we wasted hundreds of millions again in the summer, didn't equip the squad properly, and we're nowhere near competing for a Premier League title. And we're coming up to 4 years of this ownership in May. And that, for me, is unacceptable.
I appreciate what you're saying about the summer, but Liverpool spent a lot more money than you in the summer and are pretty much there where you are. So what would you have done differently in the summer?
What I would have done differently in the summer is signed proven quality instead of just constantly turnover of
But you've just had your best year for a couple of years based on the new policy and what the new owners want to do. Why would they go and change that full 360?
No, they wouldn't change that. But this is what I mean. Like, I was delighted to win the Club World Cup. I was there in New York, fantastic. But what it did was, it allowed a lot of Chelsea fans to believe that the squad was actually better than it was. Right. And it allowed the people in charge, for me, to think that what they're doing is working. And in my opinion, this Maresca achieved in spite of them, not because of them. Like, this rotation policy that we talk about, that's all well and good if you're backing up quality with quality. Chelsea got a very good first 11 if everyone's fit. It can compete. Unfortunately, the players that are coming in are nowhere near the level required. They constantly preach about we're starting the best players under 25 in world football. We're not. Garnacho's not one of the best players under 25. Neither is Jamie Gittins. Neither is Liam Delap. You've let the manager down by not bringing in the required quality. For me, no one can say that, you've improved the squad. You're pushing on that to challenge for a title, bringing in Liam Delap, Gittins and Garnacho. That's just not cutting it. When you look at what City are doing, when you look at what Arsenal are doing, when you look at what Liverpool, I know Liverpool haven't been as successful this season. When you look at the money they spent, quality of player bringing in, we are not moving forwards under this model. And unfortunately, until that changes, Chelsea will not compete for a Premier League title.
We are told that the model will not change, by the way, certainly not right now anyway. So Maresca is gone. You also predicted on New Year's Eve that if Maresca did go, Liam Rosenior would likely be the replacement. And it is at this stage looking like that. What do you think of that appointment?
I don't really know, to be honest. It's not a surprise at all. It's the obvious choice. It's the easy choice. And yeah, look, he's done a reasonable job at Strasbourg. He's clearly an intelligent guy. He's a good manager. He's worked with young players before. My major concern would be is he really ready to go into the circus that is Chelsea right now in terms of how things are? I actually feel sorry for him because realistically, he should be staying at Strasbourg to continue his development. But
he can.
You can't say no. You can't say, the thing is that you can't say no. One, you can't really say no to Chelsea when you're a manager of that experience and, the CV that he's got in terms of he's not managed the biggest clubs. But secondly, because we own Strasbourg, he's also would be saying no to his current employer. So he's in a very, very difficult situation. Now, like every manager that comes in, I'll back him until it's not possible to back him anymore. But unfortunately, with the way things are, he's on a hiding to nothing. And I think realistically, in 12 months' time, he won't be here anymore.
What's Darragh, in terms of, so Rosenior is...
He's made for that job.
Actually, I want you to explain that a little bit more, but he's managing the Championship, actually did okay.
Yeah.
He's done well.
He's a superb young coach, but one of his great skills is he manages upwards brilliantly. He's a company man. He's made for that Chelsea role. He's made for...
Is company man another way of saying yes, man?
I'm not saying that. I just know in the game, I know from his coaching at Derby, at Hull, from what I've heard is, he is a phenomenal young coach. But I've also heard, if you watch him, when he's in front of a camera, he's probably one of the best managers out there, articulating himself, saying the right things. He would never go against his club, even when he was under pressure at Hull, which was ridiculous. He is a company guy. And that's not a bad thing. He knows how to manage upwards. That's why I think the Chelsea job is made for him. I think he'll do well.
What's the positives and negatives of being a company man from an owner's point of view?
Well, the negatives will be obviously that the fans, when you have a bad run and you're saying the same things and you're being seen as too company man, you're going to have obviously fans going crazy at that because they want him to kind of rage against the system at times, which is probably what you're feeling Maresca's done. He's shining a spotlight on all the faults that you see in the policy of Chelsea. So he's now a bit of a hero for doing that. Whereas Rosenior wouldn't do that. He's not that type of young coach. He's a modern day young coach who's been trained in media, very good in communication and can coach any age of player, particularly young players. I think the Chelsea dressing room will react to him really well because he's their age group and generation.
Well, Charlie, will they react to him well, though? Maresca played at the top level, was at Manchester City at the top level, albeit not as the head coach. He did win the championship with Leicester. Rosenior hasn't even played at the top level, let alone managed in the top flight.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, in theory, you know, he's managed more games of football than Maresca and Frank Lampard had when they took the job. But in terms of top flight experience, in terms of experience on the biggest stage, he is lacking that. He's young himself as well. He would never have worked with players of the caliber and the quality that Chelsea have got. Maybe the egos as well. I mean, I think he's a very good man manager, very good people skills, very good communicator, but. You know, it's very different working with young, sort of up-and-coming players in France who perhaps haven't got the biggest egos, aren't, you know, big stars. Going into that Chelsea dressing room now where, you know, you've got a lot of top international players, a lot of top-class footballers. I think you have to give everyone a chance. But, you know, it will be interesting to see kind of how he's perceived. But for me, I just feel like I feel like he's got a big problem because, as Dara said, like, company man, fine. But that for me in itself is a big red flag that really he's getting the job because he toes the line, not maybe because of his ability. And I think the reason why they're looking for someone like him or a company man, quote unquote, is because they know that the way they operate, no top level elite manager will go anywhere near Chelsea being run like this.
Final question, Charlie. You're in 4 competitions. You're in a cup semi-final. You've got, you know, you're close to the top 4. Now, twice you've sacked a manager mid-season and then gone on to win the Champions League. Is that going to happen again?
Probably not, but never say never with what Chelsea do. But I think you've got to look at the quality of the squads that we had then, the caliber of manager we had at those points as well to do it. So, look, the season is still salvageable in some sense. You know, we've not, Rosenior, if he comes in, is not coming into a catching up job where, you know, in the top 13 in the Champions League right now, can easily still finish top 8. You've got a cup semi-final, FA Cup's not started yet, and you're there or thereabouts in qualification for the Champions League. So for me, he comes in and the remit has to be exactly the same as it was at the start of the season. You need to finish in the Champions League and you need to try and win something. And if not, we shouldn't be waiting around and starting the process again. If it was up to me, he'd come in. It's a 6-month contract. You get us Champions League football. If you don't, someone else has to come in the summer, because we can't just drop the standards and drop what's expected because someone new's come in.
Okay, Charlie, great stuff. Thank you.
Take care, bud.
No, thank you, guys. Cheers. There we go, guys. There we go, chat. There we go. So yeah, that was my thoughts on it. That was my thoughts on it, chat. That's the situation that we're in. Let me stop sharing the screen. By the way, chat, has the presser started yet? Has the presser started? Oh, Chelsea have just finished their training session. For fuck's sake. Has Rosenior spoken yet, chat? Just finished training 2 minutes ago. But I think this is the telling point here, right, chat? This is a telling point here. Let me find this. Hold on. Because Eunice here is absolutely spot on with what he says. So, we're going to bring this up. So Eunice here has tweeted, anybody studying Rosenior's football is wasting their time. This isn't about a footballing issue. This is an operational issue. The issue's on how the club is run and the environment managers have to work in, not about how they play. Pep, Sir Alex, Jose would hit a brick wall after a season at Chelsea before exploding and wanting out. The way the club is operating cannot continue like this. The problem is with Blueco, no one else. And he's spot on here. He's spot on here because it is a complete waste of time looking at Rosenior's football, looking at how he plays, the style of football, what he implements, all these things, X, Y, Z. And And that's what it ultimately boils down to. This is nothing to do with football. You know, Rosenior, nice person, it seems, leader, tactician, who knows. But Chelsea is broken. So what Rosenior does, how he manages his tactics, his style of football, it's all irrelevant at the end of the day. And this is why I said on the clip that I just showed you, chat, this is why I said that ultimately none of this actually matters. None of this is important. No one cares about what's happening. No one's asked, chat. Like, at the end of the day, it does not matter who the manager is. It doesn't matter, chat. You know, it doesn't even matter. So this is what I'm trying to get at here is ultimately it's totally irrelevant. By the way, have I done all the super chats? Yeah, I have. It's irrelevant who the manager is. It's irrelevant what style of football they play because the fundamental core issues at Chelsea are what they are. They're operational. Yes, Callum McFarland's arrived, chat. Callum McFarland has arrived. Oh, we're cooking.
A whirlwind, as you can imagine, but also really enjoyable and really exciting. So I can only feel positive about it. It's an amazing experience. Yeah.
Did you know Enzo? Have you spoken to him? Did you have any sort of relationship with him?
Yeah, a traditional relationship that you have as a 21s coach with a first team manager. Obviously, a lot of our players go across and train with the first team, and they were really good and really interested in how some of our younger boys are doing, and obviously gave a lot of debuts. So, yeah, other than like a professional relationship in terms of a 21s manager and a first team coach.
And you've just taken training, you've taken the game on Sunday.
Yeah.
When you took training in kind of the nicest possible way, did you almost have to say, hi, I'm Callum, this is my job, I'm going to be your manager for the next few days? What sort of, how well do you even know the players, and do any of them know you?
Yeah, I think there's a really good culture at the club in terms of like their support from the first team, from the directors, from everyone seems interested. So when we've had like big youth league games in the Youth Champions League, the first team players are coming across and watching. There's obviously a bit of an academy presence there as well. So I met with a few of the individuals beforehand, but I was officially introduced this morning. And did
your pass let you in?
It did, yeah. It got changed to let me in. Yeah. So and it's in all honesty, it's exactly the same as wherever you work. Like we're all in it for the same reason. We all love football, and we're here to support them. And training was really good today, and it was a really good energy. And the lads have been brilliant. The staff at the club have been brilliant. So we can't.
Yeah, we are. Chat, we're cooked on Sunday.
In terms of the players, I mean, playing for Chelsea, they're well used to what goes on and the numbers of managers that are in or out. But how are they? You said good energy. I mean, you know, they're going to talk about what's happened. It's been an extraordinary, dramatic sort of 24 hours in this club. What sense did you get from them?
You don't know what to expect really, but the energy and enthusiasm in training was exceptional today. They seem really focused. They're really driven, hungry. They know we've got a massive game on Sunday and we're going to have to be at our best. So you can feel that. They're professionals. They've done this a long time. They've been here before. Reece has been brilliant. He's been a real leader in the group and supported the staff and the players. So you can't ask for any more. It just seems like a real focus for getting the best performance we can on Sunday.
Just finally from me then, you've never been in charge of a senior game, and your first game is going to be Man City, and you're taking on Pep. In any other walk of life or any other club, it's utterly bonkers, isn't it, to even imagine what Sunday's going to be like in your world?
Yeah, but ultimately it's a football match, and it's not really about me or my first game or playing against Pep. It's about Chelsea versus City, two top sides, and we'll go there and compete. And we've seen this year how this team can do in big moments. So we're really looking forward to that challenge.
Thanks, Gail. Alex?
Hi, Callum.
Hi.
Firstly, could you give us the latest team news? How's Mark Cucurella? I saw he was out on the pitch. That's positive.
Yeah, that is positive. Yeah, we're undecided on that, so I don't really have the full information on that.
Undecided on that. The medical staff haven't said how long
sure it'll come out in the next couple of days.
Any other updates? Obviously, a lot needs to be resolved, but what are the short-term priorities right now? What are you going to be saying to those players before they go out against City?
Yeah, it's about them. It's always awkward when an interim comes in, and it's more for them than it is for us. It's about them producing the level of performance that they've done before against top sides, and we've had some top results this year, and we know what this side's capable of. And my message to them is bringing the best version of themselves and being all in it together and believing that we can get the next couple of days right, and ultimately put in a good performance on Sunday.
Have you had a chat with the owners? Have they said anything to you?
Yeah, I spoke to the directors and the owners, and like I said, they've been really supportive. They've given us everything we need to be successful.
They haven't, brother. Yeah.
Nothing more we could ask for. They've been fully on board, and we're all in it together.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alex. John?
Can I just ask you who's going to be with you on Sunday? Who will be in your coaching group?
Yeah, so we have from the 21 staff, we have myself, Andy Ross and James Simmons, who are my assistants with the under-21s. We also have Adam Keep, who's the analyst with the under-21s as well. Bernardo is still here, the set-piece coach, and that will be the main part of our technical team for Sunday.
And how difficult is it going to be picking a team? Because obviously you've got 2 training sessions, but presumably you've also got to speak to the medical team. You know, some players can't play 2 games on the trot, some can't play 3 on the trot. So, I mean, how difficult is that whole process?
Yeah, it's difficult to pick any team at any moment. It's probably the hardest part of the job, even at under-21s level. You're going to disappoint people, you're going to leave people out. But you've got to do what you feel is best in that moment. We'll obviously be speaking with the medical team. Obviously, lads coming back from injuries, we have to manage like you do at any club, at any level. So it's all pretty routine in that. But we'll pick the best team that we feel like is ready to play that game and compete.
What are your emotions at the moment? Is it excitement, or is this a bit daunting? I mean, it's understandable that it would be pretty daunting.
I'm quite relaxed about it, if I'm honest. I'm sure as I get closer to the game, it will become maybe more nerve-wracking, more daunting. But I haven't worked at this level before, of course. But I think the lads, and like I said, the lads today were brilliant, and it fills you with confidence that we're all in it together, and it's a team effort.
And we spoke about, you go to Manchester City. You obviously used to work at Manchester City. Do you know Pep?
No.
Yeah. Okay, well, good luck.
Thanks. Thanks, John. Ian?
Hi, Callum. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Andy Warhol once spoke about everyone having 15 minutes of fame. How are you enjoying your 15 minutes of fame, and how will you deal with the nerves come Sunday?
Doesn't feel any different. I don't feel famous, or other than a few other text messages than what we usually get, but it honestly doesn't feel any different. I'm just focused on coming in every day, preparing the team as best we can for a positive result, but it honestly doesn't feel any different.
Is this a one-off, or will you be going into next week as well? Have you been told yet just Sunday, or have you been told do it until somebody comes in?
Yeah, the brief is to prepare the lads for Manchester City on Sunday, and that's honestly all I know at this moment in time.
Right now you're an under-21 coach, but I presume one day, somewhere down the line, you want to be a manager in your own right. Is this a good chance to showcase to millions of people around the world, rather than a couple of hundred watching an under-21 game, what you can do?
No, I honestly don't see it like that. I see it as the team needs to be prepared and ready for the game on Sunday, and our job as a staff is to give them the best opportunity to perform in that arena, in that environment. It's not about us as a staff. I know that's the narrative, but it's not. It's about giving the players the support they need to go and execute the performance.
And finally, up against Pep Guardiola, most managers up against Pep Guardiola are underdogs. have you got absolutely nothing to lose on Sunday? You personally and you as a team got absolutely nothing to lose because of the situation, because of what's happened in the last 24, 48 hours?
I think that we know we're up against a really good team in really good form, a great manager, but we've got a really good team. We've got a really good, talented group of players. So I wouldn't say we have nothing to lose. We're going to go there and try and give a really good account of ourselves and put in a performance like we've seen from this team previously. So I wouldn't say we have nothing to lose now.
Good luck.
Thank you. Simon?
Hi, Carl.
Hi.
In terms of the players, I know you sort of talked about how focused and everything they are. Have any of them sort of been asking questions about what's been happening over the last few days?
Yeah, it's a good question, but probably not to me, in the fact of the short space of time that I've worked with them. All my communication and relationships with the players have been around what training is going to look like today, what the next couple of days might look like, what Sunday might look like. So in terms of bigger picture, I'm probably not the person that they'd be asking those questions.
Sure. And Enzo would talk a lot about how many videos he'd watch of the opposition ahead of a game. Have you had a chance to even start watching Man City, or has it just been too crazy?
No, of course, yeah. So we found out at after lunchtime yesterday. So we had the whole of yesterday to get our heads around how they've been playing and what their games have looked like, and quite lucky that they played last night as well. So we got to watch that game.
Yeah.
So no, I think we've got enough. We've had a chance to have a look and put some ideas together.
Thanks, Simon. James?
Callum, with Enzo going, the owners have faced a bit of criticism about sort of the way the club is run. I just wondered, from your perspective, what are they like to work for?
Like I said earlier, we've had a lot of really good support in the last 24 hours.
I don't know why they asked him. He's never going to say,
the plan is moving forward,
or I hate it, or whatever.
And it's my 6 months at the club. I can only speak positively about the plans, the project, and how well it's come across in the academy, and the amount of opportunities the young lads are getting, which is, as a 21s coach, probably the most important thing for me. So I can only speak positively, in all honesty.
And it's been reported sort of widely that Enzo had a few issues internally. Did you see any of that in your role? Was that separate?
We're in a different building. We're on the other side. So my job is just to coach the under-21s players to the best of our ability, and hopefully get them opportunities in the first team. So,
Thanks, James. Right, we'll bring that section to an end there. Cameras.
Cheers, Callum. Thank you, Callum. Well, there was absolutely nothing really in that presser whatsoever. Didn't seem to be the usual people there. I feel sorry for him. The guy's just an under-21s coach, doing his thing, and he's been parachuted into this mess. Poor bloke. Yeah, okay, he's lacking a bit of aura, he's lacking a bit of charisma, a bit of character. Cool, but I'm not gonna get on him for that. I'm not getting on him for that. I feel sorry for him. He shouldn't have been in that position. He should not have been in that position. So there we are, chat. There we are. Do you know what? You would think so, right? You would think so. But given the chaos and the circus, right, that's Chelsea, I don't think it can be fully 99.9% probably it's ruled out. But there's a 0.1% where we could do something, but it's very, very unlikely. No, it's not his fault at all. Not 100% they are. I've been taking a piss for 4 years nearly. I mean, I'd love it. Yeah, Matisse does need to change the narrative. Matisse coming in. I WhatsApped him yesterday. He couldn't confirm or deny whether he was taking the job. But yeah, he's got a decision to make soon. So Matisse will be taken over at some point, probably next week. Who's playing left back? Well, if it's not Cucurella, I imagine it'll be Gusto again. if Cucurella is not available. So yeah, we're in trouble. Yeah, I'll be cheering on the boys as well. Of course I will, because that's what we do. That's what we do as fans. But yeah, I'm not expecting anything from Sunday. Expecting absolutely nothing. Yeah, Rosenior has been speaking, and yeah, there's a lot of noise, a lot of speculation. But as a coach, if you get involved, you fail. My job is here. I love this club. Famous words. I love this club. Next week I won't be there. So there we are. Pep has been speaking as well. Pep Guardiola on Enzo Maresca leaving. Only I can say that Chelsea, I think from my point of view, lost an incredible manager, an incredible person. But it's a decision from the hierarchy of Chelsea. So nothing to say. He's speaking facts. He's speaking facts. Because that's what Pep does. He speaks facts. It's a decision. I've got nothing to say. How lucky I am in the club where I am. My club is extraordinary. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. Bro, Pep's cooking these frauds. Pep knows what's up. Pep knows what's up. He's cooking these frauds. That's exactly what he is doing, chat. Exactly what he's doing. Chat, we're on 400 in the building. Only 234 likes. Let's try and smash this up to 250, chat. Smash this up to 250 likes, people. Run it up. Run it up. Where's that from? Tasty Blues, where's that from? Have you just made that up? Have you just made that up, or is that from somewhere? And if it is from somewhere, can you point me in the right direction? So I'm not seeing that. Changes nothing. Changes absolutely nothing. No, it's definitely not true. It's definitely not true. No Chelsea manager is getting full control of anything. Matchday Central, trust me, bro, is basically what that is. So I don't see that. I don't see that being true whatsoever. I definitely don't see that being true. Well, maybe it could be, but I think it's highly unlikely. Highly unlikely. So there we go. There we go, chat. Fuck me. What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. Big up to Callum McFarlane. Callum McFarlane's Blue Army are going to be there and are going to be cooking. Hold on, chat. I'm just logging into work. Wonderful. There we go. Go to Pice. Okay, let's go to Pice. If it's just Rosenior quotes, and I've seen these, but let's have a look anyway. Oh, for fuck's sake, pressed it wrong. Let's have a look anyway. Let's have a look at these a little bit further on this. And then I will round out in a sec, because I'm supposed to be working, chat, but such is life. In life, there is zero guarantee. We don't know what will be done tomorrow. I do my job. There has already been speculation. I don't want to guarantee how long I'll be here. No, you don't want to do that, brother, because you know you're not going to be there next week. I'll be here, but I enjoy it here every day. I plan to keep doing it as long as I'm here. I like this club, but I can't guarantee anything. No one can do that. That is a roundabout way of saying I'm not going to be here. Yeah, there we go. So thank you for confirming that, Liam, without confirming. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? That absolutely makes sense. 100% it does. Eric Ramsey, here we go. I don't think Eric Ramsey, here we go, is there at all. What else is knocking about chat in this most mental of days? Yeah, I don't think there's much else to say, chat. I don't think there's much else to say. Yeah, of course it. Yeah, of course it does. I mean, of course it does. But yeah, that's not going to happen. Dodgers tweet, I think, is just exactly the same as what we've been through. It's just more quotes from Rosenior. I've seen that. It was under Thomas Tuchel when Marcus Alonso scored the winner in the last minute. But we haven't beaten Man City since we won the Champions League. Iriola won't get it. No chance. Yeah, of course it was always going to be him. Of course it was. James has got 2 years left in the summer. I think James will sign a new deal. I don't think he'll be one that will leave. Palmer and Caicedo, genuinely Cole Palmer, I could see him not being here in the next 18 months. Genuinely, I could see him not being here in the next 18 months. So yeah, there's potentially worrying times ahead, chat. Potentially worrying times ahead. But what can we do? What can we do? There's not much we can do right now. I mean, Rosenior, anyone at Strasbourg is always going to be potentially a future Chelsea manager. That's the reality. If we didn't get Rosenior, I don't know who we'd get. But look, I think it's pretty obvious. Unless he says no, which I think is very unlikely, then that's it. Anyway, chat, I must run. We're going to have to round this one out here. As much as I'm enjoying this show, I need to get back to work. So, people, big love to everyone for the support today on the stream. Big numbers again. Appreciate each and every single one of you. Big up to all you legends. Enjoy the rest of your Friday afternoon. If there's any major developments in the Liam Rosenior managerial chase, I'll be back later on. If not, we'll be back again tomorrow. Looking ahead to the Man City game, going through all the latest manager news. Make sure you stay. No, we don't want that. What was that? Make sure you stay tuned in, chat. Enjoy the rest of your Friday afternoon. Big love to you all. Smash the like button on the way out. Subscribe if you're new around here. Let's have a look if anyone is live. Who shall we send you over to? Who shall we send you over to, chat? What do we reckon, people? What do we reckon? Who should we send you over to? Who should we send you over to? Who's live now? Let's see who's live now. There's no one live. How is there no one live? Mental. Chat, we won't be sending you over. We won't be sending you over to anyone because no one's live. But anyway, big up to people. big up. I mean, I don't think the big six need a redirect from me. let's be totally real here. The big six do not need a redirect from me. Anyway, yeah, guys, enjoy the rest of your Friday. I'll be back later on, as I said. If there's any further announcements or any there's any further news, I'll be back. If not, chat, we'll see you tomorrow for all the latest news. Smash the like, subscribe, as I said. Enjoy the rest of your Friday afternoon. Big love for the support. Up the Chelsea, and I'm out. Love.